we have a Sun semi-square Venus aspect. Yeah, that is a consideration, and we haven't adjusted our settings yet, but we could. In fact, if you want to adjust the settings, we could do that. We could go to Venus, click on the Venus line, and change it to 45. All right? So now the Venus lines are 4.5 points apart. Okay, so we're still short. Uh-oh, what happened here? So we're getting a little bit of reaction back up. So there's some planetary line here. Can you see the top here? It's that high of this swing is support for the low here. There's something there we haven't figured out yet, but it's based on one of these harmonics we're setting. So would you be out here? You could be out with a small profit. But we didn't close through yet, and now we close through. But we're at the Mercury line here. So we're out of the trade now. And then we look to re-enter, right? When we broke through either the high-low activator or through the low here. And that would be the next third wave down, right? And that's a retracement. I don't know what the retracement is from this point to here, but it looks like a 38% retracement, or almost a 50%. And I think the odds are we're going to come back down some more. And here we are. So we broke through the high-low activator, and now we're continuing back down. Now it's kind of a tough call to make with your stops. You know, if you have a choice between putting your stop just above the high-low activator or the Mercury line just above, I usually like to put my stop a little bit above the Mercury line, the planetary line, if they're almost at the same point. So, you know, you could have given your stop another point, and you'd still be in that trade, or you're looking to re-enter, right? You know, on this bar, or when we break through the low of this bar. But so far, we've got the planetary reversal on the Mars-Neptune harmonic, 1147, 25, and we're down to 1143. Now we broke back above. So we responded to the Mercury 30 line. We touched the Venus line again. Now we're breaking above. What do you want to do here? Now we're going sideways. What would you do, Rich?
Going sideways?
Yeah, right? Stand aside.
Need volatility.
Yeah, need volatility, need volume, need movement. So now we're breaking back above. We broke above the high-low activator. Now we're touching the Mars-Neptune harmonic. We went slightly above it. We didn't close through. It's the 12th of April. The 13th now? Okay, yeah. It's the next day, the 13th. And we got a Mercury semi-square Mars aspect and a Mars trine-Neptune. We have a Sun sesqui-square Jupiter. We have Sun crossing the 24 line. So that 120 line should still be strong because of that. The Jupiter line should be strong. I have it at 90, but now we have a Sun sesqui-square Jupiter aspect, and I put down here to use the 45 setting because 135 doesn't go evenly to 36. So what we're going to do is adjust the Jupiter line now to 45. Which day are you looking at? We're looking at Tuesday the 13th. And we have a Sun sesqui-square Jupiter, so now I'm adjusting my Jupiter setting to 45. So let's see if the Mars-Neptune line holds, and it held again. All right, so that's a little bit of a fake out here. Not a breakout, a fake out, right? So resistance held again, and it should, because I don't want to say should, because I don't want to project what should happen. Then you get in trouble that way. The probabilities are strong that it's going to hold here. And that's a big reversal back down. Because we have another aspect with Mars, which is the semi-square Mercury, but Mars and Neptune trine is strong. And look what's happened here. Look at that. And that's the Sun crossing the 24 line of the universal clock. There's the Sun crossing the 24 line of the universal clock. When any planet crosses the 24 line, yeah, it brings some kind of activity. It often brings a reversal. Sometimes it can bring a breakout too. But more times than not, it brings a reversal. So the Sun's crossing the 24, and we hit the Mars-Neptune line. Boom.
Is there a way to find a precise time that it crosses, or is that important? Because it only shows up on the aspect research. It doesn't show up on the one with the time. So is there a way to fix an actual?
Well, no, because when an inner planet crosses the 24 line, it's like an orb of a degree. It's like 1 or 2 days. So if it's within the, if price is at resistance on the day that the planet's crossing the 24 within a day, then you're looking for a reversal off of that. So we got price and time confirmed though, because the Sun crosses the 24, and price is at our resistance, planetary resistance area here. And look how strong that move down was.
When would you change Mercury to 45, since Mercury hasn't done anything here? Or
Yeah.
would you change Mercury to 45?
Yeah, we can change Mercury to 45 now. And if the Mercury line at 30 and the Mercury line at 45 didn't change here, then what's the setting? It'd be 90, be 180. Rice didn't care, he crashed straight through it. Because the first harmonic Neptune is stronger. No, it's the Mercury 90 line. But we're going to change it to 45. Now that's a powerful move down. Okay, the question is, how do you get the price of the Sun 24 line? Well, we could add that also. We could edit this. Let's click on the Sun line at 60. We can change it to 24. That's a factor -2. That puts the lines at 2.4 price increments. And that's at 24 price increments. So we could put it on at -2. And that is close to the Mars-Neptune.
That's a 24.
That's Mars at 24 -2 factor. 2.4 increments for Mars. I mean, that's Sun, for the Sun crossing the 24.
What if that's 72?
Excuse me? You want to know if that's a 72? Well, it's real easy to determine which one it is. You just type in 72. It is a 72. But price crashed straight through it. Didn't make a difference. Right. Didn't matter. And the reason it didn't matter is because the strength of the Mars-Neptune resistance is much stronger than your Sun 24 line or Moon aspect to the Sun at 72. It has to do with the strength of the harmonic, and that's its Neptune 360. So that's where people don't understand how to use galactic traders. They don't understand the strength of the harmonics. I mean, new people, you know, and now you guys know how to do this.
My thinking was that, okay, we know the Neptune line is strong. That 72 line with the moon, before the other might have triggered that moon down.
It might have contributed, but it wasn't confirmed with a planetary high.
Okay.
This is based on the time of the aspect.
And what's the deal with 72? Is that just because it's a multiple of 24?
And I noticed it was that the sun was aspect of the moon at 72, that more.
Oh, I see.
And that's why I'm just
Yes.
like,
So that means they're together on the universal clock.
Sun and the moon.
Now with the interday reversals, a Sun-Moon quintile aspect, I would only pay attention to if it happens during the day or close to the open or close. So if it happened before or after, I'm not going to consider that valid. Quintile, 72. So if it did, that could bring a reversal time during the day. Yeah, that could be a factor.
The only reason I thought of it is because we put the sun 24, and I saw that aspect of the moon, and the before the other. I was just kind of experimenting and playing. I don't know if it's going to have an effect or not, but I wanted to see if
Right.
it's actually a stronger sun on it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could make it, but
I know.
it is close to the Mars-Neptune harmonic,
Right.
and that is a 72 line.
If it had been later in the day, I wouldn't even know. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That the other, but it just happened.
I see. So that's a good point, and that is the 72 line, and it is close to the Mars-Neptune line. So that's a strong. That can make this resistance area even stronger. Okay.
Ted, to your point before, when you made the statement that you must understand the strength of the harmonics, basically, if I'm understanding what you're saying, 360 is the strongest, 180 is the next strongest,
120, 90.
You know, in the old-fashioned way of, you could have just put a horizontal line from the first pivot. You got a double top, and you can sort of say, well, it may go up to retest. Now, are the astral lines in a sense just correlates of like those old trend lines, or what are they telling you more? Is it about the strength of that, or is it just giving you added confidence?
Yeah, well, double tops, triple tops can fail. We blow straight through them. How many times does that happen? Well, this tells you the probabilities are this double top's going to hold.
So the strength, because
The
it's
strength.
real nature of them. Okay. So that's
Correct.
the additional information it's telling you.
Exactly. Versus just using quote-unquote traditional technical analysis, you know? You're not just looking to sell the next double top.
Not the oscillators.
Right.
Standard support resistance.
Right. Because those fail all the time. You're just using technical analysis. But this is called planetary technical analysis. This is planetary price analysis, technical analysis. So this double top is a strong one because it's likely to hold compared to another double top because price and time are equal. It's at the time of the Mars-Neptune trine at the harmonic price level of the Mars-Neptune trine. And that's why this move is so strong back down. And these are big, this is a huge reversal here. So what are we going to do now? You didn't get in on this one. Where are we going to? Okay, we're we're still short, actually. We broke slightly through the sun 72 line. Now we have the sun at 72, which is a stronger harmonic than the 24, but it's a multiple of 24. We broke close through it, came back up, but we never broke through the high-low activator. And we're continuing down.
Yeah, I still have Saturn on my chart, 60, and it's right in there with that sunlight as well, 72. And my Saturn is 60 and minus 2.
Okay. You want to add Saturn at 60 minus 2?
Well, I'm asking you, I'm thinking Saturn and Neptune will still be an aspect.
Yeah, Fran mentioned she has Saturn at 60 minus 2, and there was a Sun semi-sextile, no, Venus semi-sextile Saturn on Sunday the 11th.
Oh, okay. Now I'm looking at evening, so it might not be as precise as what you're looking at.
So we could add Saturn. 30 would be 3 points, 60 would be stronger. That's pretty close. Support. So here we are, we're still short. Now the point of doing this exercise is it builds muscles, builds confidence, increases your faith in this whole market timing system. So then when it comes time to pull the trigger in real time and with real money, you know how it works. You know what to expect. You know where to take your profits. You know where your risk is above the planetary lines. You got technical tools to enter, and you know what to expect most of the time, and you know the probabilities are strongly in your favor. But if you don't do this work and exercise in these exercises, you're not going to build the confidence in this whole system. You won't trust it. You won't have faith in it. But if you do this enough times, you'll have faith in this. And you'll have confidence. You go, okay, this is the odds are in my favor here, and you'll take the trade. But we're still going down. Now this is one of those huge winners. What did Dennis refer to this as being?
Big fish.
Big fish. Okay, we just caught a big fish. This makes up for all your little small losses. This is where you make your living trading. Is trades through that like this. We've not broken above the high-low activator. We're still short.
So Ted, you feel like you can back test it by slide it down? But how does that back test it continuously changing the line?
It's not going to work. Backtesting doesn't work with this unless you're adjusting your settings. You have to adjust your settings. Because what worked in the past is not going to work in the future.
Right, you can't test going forward.
You gotta adjust them every day.
That's the whole point of this. You have to adjust your settings on a daily basis.
Yeah, but you can't test, you can't paper track it on the sunlight, and you test going forward, either because that's.
No, you can't. If you adjust your settings, you can test going forward. Absolutely.
Your method adjust for doing your settings.
What's the what?
Yes, I guess I'm looking for some kind of consistent guideline for adjusting the settings, how I know exactly what
It's all-
factor I'm going to divide by, what,
It's all right here, like what we're doing. It's all right. Just it's setting putting up your settings based on the aspects, adjusting your factors, and watching the reaction with highs and lows at the planetary lines. That tells you your settings are correct, and then trading off of those lines based on those settings.
Now I'm catching out clearer.
Is it clear?
Yeah. Now I'm catching on a little bit. If I was just starting out fresh, would you then, like today was today is, would I start putting planetary lines on based on the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th, since it can be 3 days before and 2 days after? Or do you put them on for the day that?
They're usually strongest on the day or within a day or two, but you can look ahead 2 or 3 days and start adding those on and seeing if price is corresponding to those
So they'll go
levels.
behind, go ahead.
Mhm. So here we are, and are we going to be covering, have we covered anything yet? Well, we would be thinking about covering some of our position. We got a Mars, we had a Mercury semi-square Mars on Tuesday the 13th, and we changed our Mercury setting to 45. That's for the semi-square, and the low touched this bar. We had Jupiter at 45, based on the Sun semi-sesqui-square Jupiter aspect. And we're approaching, what are we approaching here once again? We're approaching the Sun-Neptune. I mean, Mars 120 line and Neptune line, okay? The high, so we're looking at how much of a move here then? We're looking at a 12-point move. The high was at 11, almost 1148. A 12-point move would be what, 1136? So that's the harmonic of 12 corresponding to the trine of 120. So we're at a profit point coming up here, and we're looking now, we're at a profit point. We're looking at covering our short position in here, taking some off here. We're taking all of it off here, at least taking half off here, and considering reversing position. Yeah, we'll take a break, and let's finish this. We'll take a break, and it's a good idea. I'm all for it, like a couple minutes. So here we are at our target. Here's the Mars-Neptune line. That's exactly a 12-point move. Is support going to hold there or not? We're breaking through. We barely closed through. Up, we're breaking through. We broke through it. Now we're coming down to, well, I would have taken at least half off and maybe left some on with the stop above the high-low activator. So this high-low activator has kept you in the trend the whole way down. Look at that. It's kept you all the way in the trend.
You use the default settings on the high-low activator?
Yeah, I use the default. But now we're approaching the Jupiter, see the thick Jupiter line and the Saturn line? That's the Jupiter 360 line. So that's a strong harmonic. Now we broke through this Mars-Neptune line. This is a weaker harmonic. It is a 12-point move, and oftentimes price will respond to that. But it is a weaker harmonic. It's not a 360 first harmonic. So we had a low on that bar, but we started breaking down below that. So this is the next strong support level, where we'd be thinking about taking everything off. And we're breaking down through that. This is how strong this move. You're still in the position with a high-low activator. It's still going. Still going.
Did it ever break through all the planetary lines?
Sure. Depends on how strong it is. Now we're approaching the Saturn. I think this is the Saturn 360 line. Now we got the Mars. We had the Mercury 45 line here again. And we got the Jupiter 45 line. So this is a potential support area based on the Mercury semi-square Mars and Mars or Sun sesqui-square Jupiter aspects. So here's another point we're looking for maybe reversal. Okay, we get it, but we came up to resistance at the Jupiter 360 line, and now we're breaking down again. Now we're at the Mars 360 line. And now we're reacting. So what kind of move we get here? 1123 from 1148. How many points is that? It's a huge move. So that's way above expectations. I would have taken half off at the Mars-Neptune line and then taken some more off either here or at this point. and not be greedy. So this went way beyond expectations, even further than I would expect it to go. That's how strong a reversal it is. But now we're at the Mars 360 line. That's the bold orange line there. And now we're getting a turnaround here. See, now we're coming back up. So if you didn't take profits here or at this point, you'd be definitely taking it all off or more off right here. And then this is your trailing stop. All right, why don't we take a break for 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll come back, and then I have some more charts we can start working on and recreating. Just 3 single stock futures, because I wanted to use an example trading in multiples of 3. And I'm going to be going over the details of that trade, and I recorded it on a CD. It's just 20 minutes long, and we have CDs burned for you that are on the counter when you go out to lunch.
So auditory or visual or both?
It's both. Audio, visual.
Do you see your mic screen?
You get to see my black screen.
Is the moon there?
Is the moon there? Yeah. I don't know if the moon's there.
This is the background.
But I'm sitting on the moon while I'm trading. But I'm going to go over the details after lunch with that trade set up and everything. But I want to continue with this exercise, and someone asked me, when you go home, you can show us what to do. Well, it's exactly what we're doing now. Okay, and I printed out for you all the aspects for the month of May. You can do this for every month, whatever market you're trading, and you put in your planetary lines, just like I'm showing you. We're recording all of this on CD for you. You can review this whole 2 days at your leisure at home and reinforce these lessons. But it's basically repeating this whole process that I'm going through for you right now. But something significant happened here. I want to finish up this exercise on the 14th. On the 14th of April, we had a Venus square Jupiter. What was the high? What was the aspect on the high? Mars square Jupiter. Remember the high we had at 1150? We had Mars square Jupiter on April 5th at the top. So we had another planetary aspect of Jupiter, a square, Venus square Jupiter. And if we adjust our settings here, if you click on the Jupiter line, we can put in the square of 90, and Venus is at 45. Well, just so you know, it is actually the 4th harmonic. We had a precise planetary low on the 14th. That's what we're looking for. So if we broke, there were 2 levels that were real important here. Since we broke through the Mars-Neptune line, let me scroll down here. Since we broke through this line, I mentioned this support level, right? The Jupiter 360 line. And that's strong because the following day, there's the Venus square Jupiter aspect. But it didn't hold because the momentum is so strong we blew through it. The next level would be down here where the next lower octave is of the Jupiter 4th harmonic, or 9 points below 1132. And that's what did it, roughly, about 1124. So that's a Venus-Jupiter low. We didn't get confirmation at at this Jupiter line, Venus Jupiter line. We got it at the next one, 9 points below. And this is how it works with these planetary lines. You don't always know which one it's going to hold, which support resistance level it's going to hold. And usually the first harmonic is the strongest, and it would hold here, but it didn't hold in this case. It went down to the next one. That relates to the magnitude of the reversal back down. And what's also strong about this level is we do have a first harmonic Mars here. The Mars 360 line. And we had Mars trine Neptune right on the 13th. So there's that Mars 360 line again. So this is also what's called the planetary price convergence. We have the Mars 360 based on the Mars trine Neptune on the 13th. We have Venus square Jupiter almost at the same point based on the Venus square Jupiter. So that was definitely your point here to cover maybe all your position and consider reversing. And that brought a reversal back up. Well, this is the, that would be somewhere underneath. So this is what's happened. Now we're continuing up. Now we're hitting resistance. When support fails, it turns into resistance. So now this Jupiter 360 line is a profit point. If you went long, this would be a profit point. So now we're coming back down off of that. You see how that works? Now we're coming straight back down. This terminated the trend. We come back up to the Jupiter 360 line. Here's the Mars 90 line, and we reverse back down once again. So there's a nice swing up and down.
And you're using that as a resistance area because there's so many planetary lines that converge up there?
Yes. Correct. And that's the Jupiter 360 line. So this first harmonic Jupiter held in this case as resistance. So here we are back to support again. And now, this time, it's starting to break down. But we broke through slightly. That's kind of like that double top just past the Neptune 360 line. We broke slightly through, but then turned around. Again, it's another little fake out. You think you're breaking down further. And look, we came straight back up again. So you got to be careful when you see these support resistance levels. It looks like they're failing. It's really not. It's just starting to. Usually when it closes through and the low's taken out, that's a continuation signal down. But look what happened here. It stopped it. Something stopped it just below. And if you put all your planetary lines on, there's some harmonic just below that triggered it. It's a matter of just figuring what it is. There's some planetary line right there at 1122. I'll guarantee it. So it strikes just slightly past support, and then we had another strong reversal back up.
So your methodology, Ted, when you saw something like that, will you then go back and figure out what planetary line to stop it there, figure it, and did that stop the trend down, from the stop the trend up? Or will you just...
Yeah, I would be paying attention to that line.
Well, for one thing, it's a cardinal point on your 1122.
Is it?
That Saturn line is the thicker one. I guess that's called first harmonic line or something.
That's the first harmonic, Saturn line.
Since the price has been blowing through it, do you kind of say to yourself, well, that's not the one it would be stopping at? Because
Right.
So,
Yeah, we flew straight through the Saturn 360 line. You know, that line's not as active right now because there's not an aspect. So an aspect is what's going to activate a line and make it strong.
So we can hide that line.
You can hide it if you want. Get rid of it. You don't like, I just deleted it.
Because it's like 3 or 4 days old or 2 days old or whatever.
And you can just hide it. But this has been a big, we got a big move up. Where do we go? To planetary resistance again. Now we're straight back down again. Now we're testing. Look, we're testing support again here. Now we're breaking through, breaking back up. So there's some planetary lines down here.
You see this finest, you know, this one. How would you go about trying to find that planetary lines?
So, how would you figure out what the planetary line is? Well, you just go through your sheet and look, you know, a few days ahead or before ahead of the day, and put in your settings based on those lines, or go to aspect research here and figure out what it is, and put it in your settings, just like we're doing. So, this is a quick demonstration of how we do this. We're looking for a setup, gives you profit points, and how effective this market timing approach can be. Is the sun 24 line at -2 or -1?
Up there, cheesy.
Oh, here we go. I had that at 24, changed it to 72. Okay, that's pretty close.
Close enough.
Yeah, that's close enough for that bar.
Yep.
What is it, right at the time of that little
We're going, Rich.
Excuse me?
What time of finding here in this exact time?
Yeah, that's-
12 Pacific.
Must be a sunset. Must be Sagittarius.
So when you get home, whatever charts you got going on, here's all the aspects for the month of May. And on some of these, you'll see aspects with the sun to the moon. That's kind of a programming thing we have to adjust. So it should be showing only the moon aspects to the sun when you click on, the aspects of the day, the live planetary clock. For some reason on the daily, it's printing that out. So don't pay as much attention to those, but pay attention to the interplanetary aspects, the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, for your daily settings, and you'll be adjusting your settings accordingly as the planets shift. So the planets are always moving, the planets are moving, and angles are moving, harmonics are moving, and what can work in the past is not going to work in the future necessarily. So that's where we have to adjust our settings.
What are you gonna
Print this out on a monthly basis.
Just print. Go to aspect research. There's another one of mine. Something in longer term. Just go to aspect research and month, file, print month. Okay, let's go to page 20. And I don't know if you need to recreate this chart or not, but I mentioned on your longer term price charts, the Jupiter-Pluto 90-degree aspect, the square, how you can have that on your longer term price charts because Jupiter's been squaring Pluto. It's an outer planet aspect. It squares it 3 times. We'll get the final pass this summer, I believe. So I just added Jupiter-Pluto lines to this long-term chart for Qualcomm, right? And, it's just real simple. On a weekly chart, in this case, this is a daily chart for just basic support and resistance. And I got the dynamic trio on here. And this thick line is the Pluto line, I believe. If I throw up a chart for Qualcomm, we just tested that area of support. This is the Pluto 360 line. I just have the moving average, 7-day moving average, dynamic trio. And it also comes together with the dynamic trio next indicator, which is based on defining the trend based on the next higher time period, which is the weekly time frame. So this is working very well, and it's just a simplified, simplistic way of applying this stuff with the outer planets. And this would work well if you want to change this to a weekly chart. I actually have Saturn on here, and you take that off, and then here's just the Pluto lines, and that's working effectively. Now on page 21, I have a chart for June T-bonds. I don't know if this is a bad tick or not after the Fed announcement. That could be real. Does anybody know if that's real or not?
Yeah, I
Doesn't
really
surprise me.
I'm not fine, no, I'm sorry. That was-
So what I'd like everyone to do is recreate this chart here on page 21. We had a precise planetary high that terminated the trend, this uptrend in T-bonds. Anybody trades this market? Does anybody trade treasury bonds?
No.
Futures? No? I know this was Robert Krause's favorite market. I think that's all he traded. And we had a significant thing happen here. If you click on aspect research, we had Pluto going retrograde on the 24th of March. And that was the bottom in the stock market and the top in the bond market to the day. We also had a Mercury trine Pluto aspect, which makes it even stronger. So if we go to aspects, you can scroll down to going retrograde and double click on that and add that to your menu. Then you can just select Pluto. And there's Pluto going retrograde at the top. We got a huge reversal back down. You can click on the bar, and after the day after Pluto went retrograde, we have a series of aspects going on. We have Mercury crossing the 24. We have Venus semi-square Saturn. We had Mercury trine Pluto on the day of the retrograde, Pluto retrograde. And I've already put on the settings for Mercury trine Pluto and Mercury crossing the 24 and Venus semi-square Saturn. And I determined that it was the Venus semi-square Saturn aspect that resulted in the planetary high and reversal. So what you have to do is put on the lines for these aspects. You have to put all three on and see which one it is. And if you're trading intraday, you can do this after the market closes. If you're trading the daily time frame, you're not making a decision that's instant. You can spend some time figuring it out. So what we would then do is go to planetary lines. Well, let's go to aspects, planets, aspects, and let's double click on angle between planets and highlight it.
What does that show again?
We're going to highlight the bar for when the aspect is occurring, so you'll see it. Then we click on Edit, go to Planets, check Venus, check Saturn, change the angle to 45. You can make the thickness of the bar whatever you want. This is the color, you can keep the color the same. Since it's Venus, let's give it a nice color. Give it a Venusian color. And there's the Venus semi-square Saturn aspect. This is called a planetary cluster. So there's some planetary line here that's terminated the trend in bonds. This is a great short trade. Make a ton of money on this one with limited risk. Odds are in our favor. Here's the timing factor: Venus semi-square Saturn, Pluto retrograde. And now we need confirmation with the right price level. So the next step would be go to planetary lines, double click on Venus, double click on Saturn. We're going to edit the line. I have it set at Geo 45. I'm using -1 factor, and I'm going to do it without the mirror so you see what it looks like without the mirror. Now we're going to do the same thing with Saturn. Geo 45 -1. And this is what it looks like. So there's no confirmation of a planetary high, right?
Correct.
Based on the non-mirror setting. But what happens if we click on the indicator and change it to mirror?
Question real quick. I'm trying to think of Zoom, and my brain's too lazy to figure it out. Bonds are inverse to
Stocks.
inverse to inverse to interest rates.
Right.
So, if you were plotting this in interest rate terms, then would you also use the mirror? I'm just curious. In other words, would it be correct using it, the non-mirror, would it show that as well? Or would there be a difference?
I don't think it makes a difference. It could be mirror, non-mirror. Whatever it is, it is.
Just because the reason is because bond prices are a mirror of what interest rates are.
Right, I
Interest
understand.
rates and vice versa.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with it in this case. So this is what nailed it, and it's precise at the Saturn line. Now, what harmonic is that Saturn line? You know, had it set at the 8th harmonic, but is it really the 8th harmonic? Is it 45? What is it, 90? Could it be a 4th harmonic, stronger Saturn line? Well, yes, it is. Maybe, let's go further. Is it 180, even stronger? See, these are questions to ask yourself. Is it even stronger? It's 180.
So that's a convergence, the factor convergence you're talking about.
No, this has to do with harmonics. How about the Venus line? Is it the 45 line, or is it the 4th harmonic, 90 line? No, it's the 8th harmonic. But it's the 2nd harmonic Saturn. That makes this reversal even stronger.
Thank you, that solidifies that point you're making.
And this is beautiful. This is textbook. I mean, these are opportunities that come along. You just have to be patient for them.
How often do you see an opportunity come along like this in a year?
Well, you would have to wait months for something like this because the trend's up, right? If I add some of these technical indicators, here's dynamic trio O index in this case. You know, the trend's up. You don't want to be short in here unless you're, minor moves. But in this case, you're looking for a major reversal. And we have not taken out the low in stocks yet on March 24th. And that nailed the high at 2nd harmonic Saturn mirror, 8th harmonic Venus mirror. And the trend's still down. I mean, this is updated with Tuesday's data. We have not broken, look how well the dynamic trios define the trend down. We have not broken above that. We'd still be short.
Now, so Ted, when Pluto goes direct, will we possibly look at a reversal here? Or is there
Yeah, that's very important to pay attention to. If a market reverses on a retrograde, you want to pay attention to when it goes direct again. Definitely. Now, I don't trade treasury bonds, but your entry point would be a breakdown below the dynamic trio here in this case. Or you could even wait till the bar, this low down here, this bar is taken out at on the 19th of March. So if you got it around 11:14 and a half, that's a pretty big move. I don't trade treasury bonds. It's a lot of money. There's E-mini, there's a mini T-bond also you can trade with less risk. So these are the things to look for, but you would have missed it if you didn't put the mirror on. Why is it the mirror setting? Why is it working now? It's an uptrend. Well, maybe it has to do with Pluto going retrograde. Okay, on the next page, page 22, I have a 60-minute chart for the S&P cash. That's messed up. In any case, you know what? I'm not going to have you recreate that one. It's let me see if I have it on my screen here. We'll skip that one over, but basically it just shows you the swings on your book. And it's based on a Sun-Venus North Node. We're at 45-degree aspects to one another. And that shows you how the swings, how effective it was in nailing the highs and the lows. Let's go to page 23 and pull up a NASDAQ daily chart. And we're going to recreate this one. Is the NASDAQ up today? Over there, Rich?
Let's see. The comp?
Yeah.
Comp's up 12.04.
Yeah, see, we got, again, here we are with the planetary reversal at the Uranus 24 line. It's been up since that day, it hit it. And this is a weekly chart. Let's go back to a daily chart. So since the low was hit on Friday at the Uranus line, it's almost precise, the 24 line, we've been up now three straight days. That's support level strong. So it looks like that's going to hold for this week so far. But I'm going to click on Do Not Show, and I want to scroll back to December 2003. So you can left click on the upper right green box and scroll back. It's your daily data. That's good. And let's click on the bar on the 10th of December. We had Sun square Jupiter. There's a series of aspects here. We had Mars semi-square Neptune on the 9th. We had Jupiter crossing the 24 and the Sun square Jupiter on the 10th. Venus trine Jupiter on the 4th. So there's a whole cluster here. So you'll be putting the planetary lines based on all of these settings But this planetary low, in this case, was based on the Mars semi-square Neptune aspect. So we're going to go to planets again, to aspects, angle between planets. What day are we doing? It doesn't matter. Just go to around the 10th of December, and then go to planets, then aspects, angle between planets, and then we're going to go to edit and add Mars and Neptune. And change the angle to 45. And I'm going to change the color of the bar to red for Mars. Okay? And now we're going to add our planetary lines for Mars and Neptune. So we're going to planetary lines, double click on Mars, double click on Neptune. I have the setting at G for Geo, 45. Factor -1. And then Neptune, G, 45, factor -1. And here's a precise planetary low based on the Mars semi-square Neptune aspect. Now, is this the 8th harmonic Mars or 4th harmonic Mars? We click on the line, change it to 90. Okay, it's 4th harmonic, it's stronger. Or is it? Or is it the 2nd harmonic? We can change it to 180 and see if that's the case. It's not, it's the 4th harmonic Mars. That makes it stronger. And the same thing with Neptune. You can click on the line and edit the line. It's not, it's 8th harmonic. So we got a reversal here. This is a planetary low reversal. But the point being is what happened, this gives you a price target. What happened when price came up to the next Mars Neptune line? Right at the Mars 45 line, or this is the 90 line. It resulted in a 90-point move. It was the exact high, and once price hit that level, it triggered a reversal straight back down. That's a huge move down on the daily chart. So this relates to the vibration of the aspect, the Mars semi-square Neptune aspect. So this is a way of projecting where price is likely to go and where it's going to react to. If there's a planetary high or low based on an angle, you'll be projecting where it's likely to go based on that vibration of that angle. So if it's a 45-degree angle, it could be a multiple of 45. 45 plus 45. In this case, it's a 90-point angle move. And it's the Mars 90 line, or 4th harmonic, so it's a 90-point move. So if you can think that way and ask yourself, what's the aspect? What's the angle associated with the low, and how that can relate to the magnitude of the move, or where it's going to go. I mentioned with gold, the bottom. And by the way, if you want to see a price of gold, I think we're continuing up today. So I'm making money off of that low. I mean, I just bought the bottom in gold. I'm not bragging about it, but I've been preparing for this for a few months. You know, I've done my homework, and I've been waiting for this. And we're getting continuation up in gold.